Welcome to the next edition of our Foundation Speaker Series. My name is Elizabeth Rosales. I'm joined today by Kelly Stento, who is the president and CEO of LeRoux School of Dance. Miss Kelly began her dance training at the age of 10 at LeRoux under the direction of the school's founder. She received formal dance training at DeSales University and at the University of the Arts. Miss Kelly has been a dance teacher since high school and a studio owner for almost 30 years. Kelly, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you tell our listeners how your journey began? When were you first interested in dance? And was that ever something that you saw yourself pursuing as a career, or how did you decide on your career path?
Well, when I was a kid, all the neighbors and I used to get together and put on shows in our garage. And one of the neighbors actually went to dance school at LeRoux. I didn't know it. I didn't go there. But I remember her sharing and trying to teach us tap steps in the garage every summer. And ironically, when my youngest sister went to preschool, she met the owner of LeRoux School of Dance and we started taking lessons. So my sister was 3, my youngest. There are 4 girls in my family. We all started dancing and I was age 10. So it was a journey, but something I really loved. And I didn't see myself doing it, but in the end, obviously, it made a huge impact in my life. So I started dancing at age 10. And then at age 16, I started teaching in various places. I was in my high school musicals and I got the opportunity to go and teach at a local modeling school, which was really fun. And then the school changed hands. LeRoux was sold by its original owner and a new person came in. And I was such a big part of the studio and a teenager, and we of course bumped heads at first. So I left the dance world briefly while I was in high school and continued to pursue theater and still a little bit of dancing in there. And then I would come to the recital every year. But then after a few years of sitting and being upset in the recital audience every year, I came back to Denise, who was the owner at that time, and I began teaching when I was 21.
Wow, that's amazing. So this is a 2-part question. What is your favorite dance style, if you have one? And have you ever won any prizes or competitions through the years for dance?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Well, while I was dancing, tap is my absolutely favorite. I still love to perform tap if I can. When I can, we have an adult cardio tap program for that reason too. I think LeRoux actually has a reputation for its advanced tap dancers too out in the dance world. I love the noise and I love the rhythm, and when the tapping feet fit so nicely with the song, I think it's just magical. So that I would have to say that's my favorite. I did have an opportunity to travel when I was young to the Tremaine Dance Convention in New York City and competed. And I know I'm showing my age, but this is way back when they only had a first, second, and third place prizes for dancers. And our group of 7 girls won first place with a tap number. So that is, of course, a real highlight of my youth.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, congratulations. And we won't talk about, how long or how recent that was, right? So why did you decide to become a dance studio owner? Earlier I had mentioned in the intro that you received dance training from the founder, and now you are the owner. So how did you end up in that position?
So as I mentioned earlier, Denise Walsh came in and took over the studio when I was in high school. And as we didn't get along at first, but when I was 21, I was brave enough to come back and interview and get a job there. And we're a magical pair. Denise was a great mentor to me. The school's founder is who gave me my love of dance. And, I still visit her. Miss Bonnie lives in Atlanta. And we just saw her. I guess she came to Pennsylvania about 5 years ago, and we got to visit with her. So me and my three sisters and my nieces that all dance now. It was really fun. So the owner inspired me so much. But then when Denise took over, she really taught me how to be a teacher of dance. And we had such a nice working relationship. And I was really eager to learn everything I could about the business, even when I was young. So I think that was initially the reason why we butted heads. But eventually she brought me in and really taught me everything about the business. She had I would say like about after we were working together 5 or 6 years, she had a young family at that time and she was looking to be with them a little bit more. And so that gave her the opportunity to provide for me, I guess, the opportunity to take over the dancing school. So when I was 26, I bought LeRoux. And shortly after that, I started a family of my own. And I do know how busy the business was, but instead of selling, I opened a second location. So.
Wow, that's amazing. And at such a young age, I can only imagine the weight of the responsibility, but seems like you've done pretty well for yourself. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's been a very nice journey.
Good. Yeah. So as a follow-up, could you tell us a little bit about LeRoux School of Dance? You know, what types of lessons do you have to offer for anyone who might be interested in your school?
So we offer lessons in ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical and contemporary, and musical theater and hip hop. I'm sorry, let's see. I've lost my place where I was talking. I wanted to tell you about some things that have changed in the industry over the years. Not so much the styles of dance, although when I was competing way back, ballet and lyrical were considered to be the same thing. And today there are a couple of styles of tap as well. And hip hop and jazz were the same thing when I was a child. So I've seen some changes with that. I've seen changes in the industry with competition. As I mentioned, in the very beginning, there was only 3 winners. And, you know, as you go now, everybody gets a prize. Everybody really gets a top prize, in my opinion. The judges are very generous with the kids today, which is good. It helps to build a lot of confidence, which I like. But the other things that have changed are email. When I first bought the business, there was no email. You know, that made a huge difference for us. Dot matrix printers. I don't even know if you know what they are, line by line. We used to keep all of our accounting records on postcards in the studio in a little postcard file. And, you know, we taught with an actual record and a record player. A lot of people know what 45s are today just because vinyl is cool. But, you know, when I was teaching, everything was on those records and we had to put the needle down for every song. Today, life is so much easier with an iPad.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've seen a lot of changes over the years. In your experience, because you've had so many years in the business, do you see any trends, or do you see where the industry might be going in the future?
Oh my goodness. I wish I did. You know, COVID really presented some big challenges for our business, and we went to TV classrooms, where students were some in the building, some on the TV or just on the TV for a while. And I don't know if I don't think that that's going to be the thing in the future, but it could be, and it can be. I'm sure it is leading the way for someone to provide that kind of opportunity for people who might not be able to leave their home. But I don't see the whole industry changing to be an online. I think it's, dance is meant to be felt and shared and all of that. So I see that still staying the same. But most of the people who work for me this is their side hustle. And I really feel like since COVID, the world kind of slowed down so much that people are not as interested in having a side hustle. So actually last week I was at a job fair and interviewed some people who are dual majors in a business area and dance. And I feel like the future of the dance world is going to employ people who can get a full-time job inside of a dance studio and be able to do some area of the business really, really well, and also be able to teach dance and do it with one full-time position and also get a hybrid. I see that. The work part could be done at home. So they have some days where they do not need to leave their house and go to a place of business. And then some days where they'll come in and share. So I think that might be the future of dance.
Yeah, it's amazing to think how COVID has changed so many industries. and dance is included. Some industries you may not think how COVID could have impacted you, but it's just interesting to see all the changes, changes for the good. We're always trying to improve and, make things better. So it's very interesting. Now, for students who are looking into college and their potential career, what advice do you have to share with them? Picking a major and a career can sometimes be daunting and intimidating. And many times we feel like we need to have it all figured out. And, once we have that degree, then we're done, right? We're done learning.
Right.
But from your experience, learning doesn't just end at college, right? So with the ever-changing industry, even in dance, there are always opportunities to learn and classes to take. So what advice do you have for our students who are just starting out on this journey?
I would say, just remember the sky's the limit in everything. I have a child attending a master's program right now and a child who's a freshman in college. So I understand, not really knowing where you're going, what you're doing. And when I went to college, I went for theater. So I didn't know this is where I was going to end up either. The world has a way of taking us on a journey. So I say, go on your path, whatever lights you up inside, that's what you should be studying. I try to tell my dancers all the time, every parent is like, what are you going to do with a dance degree? And this past spring, last spring, I sat in a college classroom and a parent asked, what is my child going to do with an English degree? And I started laughing out loud. I thought that was, you could do anything with an English degree, right? But so then it made me know that the whole world isn't sure what their kids are going to do with whatever degree they pick. So just like I just spoke about a minute ago, you will be able to, merge your worlds, whatever they are, wherever your interests are. Think of ways that you can learn as much as you can about them and merge them together, and take the attitude of being a forever learner, because an entrepreneur needs to be a person who is interested in learning all things all the time, and being able to step up and meet the world's challenges as they come to you. So the sky's the limit. Only you can hold yourself back. And the one thing too, I think I would say is that, find your zone of genius and then surround yourself with others who can complement that. A fortune cookie reminded me one time to surround myself with people that make me better. And I have never forgotten that. So that's what I would say. Go for your dream and then surround yourself with people who can help you get there.
Wow, that's amazing advice. That's great. And, as you had mentioned earlier, you were interested in dance, but you were also interested in teaching. So, those are two different, worlds, but you made them merge together. So, now you're fulfilling your dream of being a teacher and having dance. So it's always interesting how you can find your interests and figure out how they can mesh together. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's awesome. So as a mom and a business owner, I can only imagine how busy you are, constantly juggling appointments and events and, everything on a daily basis. So how do you manage your time and your priorities? What is the key to your success? What does success look like for you?
So you're right. As a mom and as my kids were growing and having the business, it presents big challenges. Today everybody talks about work-life balance, and I don't really think there is a work-life balance. I think that, when things are really great at the studio, the laundry is piled up at home. And that's just reality. And that's okay. It's okay. And when the piles of, files are stacked up at the desk, maybe all the laundry is taken care of. So I do look at my schedule in a unique way and try to do this for everyone who works with me, so that when they come in each day, they know what the priority of the day is. So we took the days of the week and we try to make a daily routine out of it. So for example, Monday would be our marketing day, and Tuesday we would work on curriculum, and Wednesday we work on staff development. Thursdays we work on all things operations, and Fridays for finances. Then Saturday we do follow-up and work on dance team things, and Sunday is for planning. So if you keep a schedule for yourself and you get yourself lost along the way, you can always pull yourself back. And it's just a guideline to tell you what, how you want to work things through. And I took an organizational class in my past, and each of these days and topics have their own color too, so that if you see a stack of yellow folders somewhere, you know that something's happening with the dance team. And I find that color coding and just having a priority day actually helps.
Wow, that's great. So I'm definitely an organizer. I love the color coded system, and I even love, Marketing Monday and Finance Friday, those catchy little things to keep you on track and remember what's going on. So that's great advice. And for those that are looking to explore the world of dance, what words of wisdom or advice do you have to give them? And then maybe kind of as a follow-up, what are some tips you have for some budding entrepreneurs, some young people who are looking to maybe start out on their own adventure?
Yeah, so I think really, as I said before, go for the thing that lights you up inside. I mean, that's really what's going to take you on your journey and move you forward. It's amazing how opportunities present themselves. And even if something seems like you're not really sure if you're interested, I would say yes at first, because then you know that you can check it off the box as something that you don't want to do. But I would say let your road lead the way. When you get to the crossroads, pick the thing that really lights you up. Maybe is the scariest thing, but sometimes that scariest thing is what brings you the most amount of joy.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. I've enjoyed listening to your story today. Thank you so much for all of your information that you provided and for our listeners. I know that they'll benefit from your expertise. So thank you for joining me today, Kelly.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for having me here. It's been my honor to answer these questions and provide a little bit of inspiration to the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. If anybody would like to reach out to Kelly to learn more, her contact information will be provided following this interview. Thanks for watching.